Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of First and Last. My name is Josh, and with me this week we have Joe.
Hey, man.
And returning from a very long hiatus is Claire.
I know you guys were all expecting Jimmy, but I'm really excited to be here. It's been a long time.
Everyone's just like, oh, Jimmy finally took a week off.
He's got to save the whales at some point.
People's champion over here.
Yeah, the whales are starting to catch COVID, so Jimmy's out on the high seas saving them.
Yeah, it's actually only humans, bats, and whales that can get COVID.
A waterborne disease sounds terrifying now that I'm thinking about it. Is that a thing? There's like viruses I guess there's like little amoebas and stuff in water that make people sick, but
yeah, I don't know.
Like,
if it was waterborne, you could just stay out of the water.
But it's just like, we need water, Joe.
Oh, you're saying
what
like if it was in all water?
Yeah, what if it's in the water?
Oh.
Yeah. Think about it.
That would be a good movie.
We'll just wear a mask.
All right. Well, COVID Watch 2020 podcast, it's still going. Joe, what is First and Last? No, for people that have never listened to us.
It's a TV pod where we take a TV show and watch only the first and only the last episode. Nothing in between, just the first and last. That's how we came up with the title, actually. We workshopped a few things.
We're very creative thinkers and really came up with, the most creative name we could think of, and it was just what we do.
There's only one other podcast that has this name.
Are you sure about that?
I don't know anymore. I haven't looked.
It's only us. We're the best. We're the best podcast named First and Last, if anything. I can vouch for that.
That's definitely for sure.
We're the best podcast named First and Last with us three on it right now.
Right now? I mean, there might be a better one later.
Yeah, when I'm not here. Oh, burn. For me. I just burned myself for no reason.
Yeah, you really did.
I don't know why I did that.
Well, Claire, since you haven't been around in a while, we're asking you to pick the show today.
Yeah,
so what did you pick?
It was a little stressful, and I, looked up a bunch and have a huge list, but then some of them are hard to find, or you can't get the first episode or all that. But it ended up between two shows because I wanted to do like a back to school special. I know the last time I was on, I was saying how I didn't want to do a school show, like a show that took place in high school or something like that. But it's been a long time.
You were like mid school year basically last time, I feel like.
I think it was February. So yeah, it was deep in the heart of the school year, pre our e-learning experiment. And now I'm about to go in for hybrid learning, which just sounds absolutely terrible. But
no, I feel like you're going into the most unstressful school situation ever developed by the very smart administrations all over the United States of America.
I could stand on my soapbox right now, but let's not. We all know that this is really stupid, especially for high school students to be going back right now. Especially, there's a lot of reasons. But I'm excited to watch this show because I know a lot of people have talked about how good it was. One of my coworkers, she's a little older than me, but when I was talking about First and Last, she brought this up as a show that she'd want to hear on First and Last because she was so upset that she wrote letters when the show was canceled.
Oh, shoot, a letter writer.
There was a letter writing campaign after the show was canceled by, the young, I guess it would be like Gen Xers at that point. I don't know what
people
they are.
in the 90s.
Yeah. So yeah, they wrote letters to try to get the show back, and they couldn't. So
and it failed.
We've only got one season. So I figure also a one season show is gonna have a really good first and a really good last, especially if you're canceled. I don't know if they knew though. I gotta Google that. But we're gonna be watching My So-Called Life. And I'm pretty sure it takes place in high school.
Well, it went from August 1994 to January of 1995. So
how's that one season? That's like a season and a half.
It was 19 episodes.
August to January.
Yeah, I mean that's
it wasn't a whole year.
I feel like
no, but like for
TV
Showland.
seasons,
like
Right.
TV land.
TV seasons are different now than they were then. I feel like they take similar breaks, but like, you know, now TV's like they take breaks and like mid-season breaks and stuff now on TV and they all do all kinds
I
of
think
stuff.
I did the math wrong on that. So you're saying it just went from August to January?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm real smart. I got it. I'm back. But yeah, like that's right around that mid-season break. It's like they get one episode after that. And then they're like, bye. Man, people had time to write those letters.
I'm looking, so I'm on the Wikipedia and I'm not trying to read anything else
Yeah, right.
besides this like random picture of like the cast. Number 1, Jared Leto's in this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, twist.
Why is that a twist?
I don't know.
You big fan?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
Oh, you don't like Jared? I like Jared Leto.
There's something about him that I can't even think of him in a movie. But
He
like,
was the Joker.
yeah, I didn't see that movie.
Just a terror. That's the worst movie ever to say, hey, Jared Leto was in a movie.
But something about him as a person turns me off. I don't know what it is about it. I
Oh.
can't even pinpoint like what movie or TV show turned me off to him, but
Was it God, what was the awful one he was in? I mean, it was a good movie, but it just made you like sad. Oh, Requiem for a Dream
oh,
in 2000.
Yeah, I have seen that.
Oh, he is
Yeah.
in that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Loses
thought
an
you
arm.
would have noticed that like Claire Danes is in this.
That's the main actress,
That's
right?
the main thing. And, you know, my name being Claire.
I knew there was like a famous
I'm a
person.
big
I
fan
can't
of,
remember.
like, the
So
Claire
that's why
Danes.
you picked it. I get
Oh,
it.
yeah.
now.
Well, actually, no. I have to say, though, I have seen like an episode of this. It was one of my
Okay.
first experiences in college trying to use like one of those websites where you could watch a TV show, but like illegally. And I just remember being really not good at it. Like, because I wasn't good at like stealing things on the internet. I'm sure you guys would have been much better at it, but
Claire, you're not supposed to admit to crimes on recorded
it's
devices.
been a long time.
Can be used against you.
Statute of limitations are gone. You're fine.
What
there-
were
Right.
Anything else you want to confess to while we're here?
Joe? We gotta talk. No, I'm kidding. I can't think of anything right
Like
now.
several murders you've committed or something.
I would never murder. Maybe, but no, I would never.
And that was the first time someone lost their life in my hands.
Wow.
Okay, yeah.
Their so-called life.
Claire's murdering people. No, okay. Yeah, I didn't see Claire Danes because it said Jared Leto's name first in the area that I was looking
Whoa.
at, so I didn't see her yet. I just got excited about Jared Leto. Joe,
Claire Danes
number
erasure.
number one, Joe, you've got to be paying attention throughout this show now to tell me at some point if you can. It clicks on why you don't like Jared Leto because I want to
yeah.
know.
Okay.
He's like, oh, he does that thing. I hate that guy.
He's got that
That's
hair.
what I want to know.
Yeah.
Or is it the eyes? Doesn't he have like very
Maybe.
piercing eyes?
Too sharp.
Too sharp. I don't know.
Sure.
I know that this is not the normal, like there's no Batman, there's no Power Rangers, there's no, of your normal things to get you guys hyped.
Well, maybe that's
But-
why there wasn't a season 2.
No. I'm trying to say.
There was no Batman in this show, so no season 2.
You know what? I'm going to predict right now that there will be a Batman in the first episode at some point.
All right.
They paid that big money to have a Batman something in this episode just for you guys. But you got to have an open mind. People say this is a really good show. I know this is a, not your favorite kind of drama, but, this is going to be great.
Why are you putting me in a box already, Claire? Let me watch the show. And
I mean,
find out
I
if
feel the
like it.
same way about Joe. You guys got to have an open mind.
I'm excited. You're making me less excited to watch this show by the minute by
Okay.
telling me that I'm not gonna like it.
Okay, I take back everything that I said. You're going to love this so much.
I saw
gonna be gushing.
Jared Leto, teen drama, and Claire Danes, and I'm into it. And you're like, you're probably not gonna like this, but deal with it, Josh. You're gonna watch this show anyway.
Well, I just was listening to your Gotham episode to try to hype myself up, and you were much more into Batman or DC Comics or whatever was going on in that one.
Well, that's
So.
because I'm a giant nerd. Thanks, Claire.
That is true.
I will say, like, looking toward the finale, like, there's probably not going to be a wedding. There's probably not going to be a clip show. I think it could be pretty good.
Oh my gosh, I hope it's not a clip show. That would be such a sad little clip show.
Well, it says, it said it was officially canceled on May 15th, 1995, which means it was officially canceled like 3 months after the last episode of the first season.
Oh.
So hopefully that points to the fact that it probably didn't end. It was probably just the end of season 1. So we probably just need to think of that when we actually get to the predictions portion of this. Is most likely they thought they were going to get a season 2, so we're predicting what happens at the end of season 1, which is inherently the end of this show.
So there's going to be like a sweet cliffhanger.
Possibly, yeah. We'll see.
That. I like that.
Yeah, it seems like it's set in the fictional Liberty High School. I thought it was going to be Liberty School or something like that. Liberty High School. In a fictional suburb near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Ooh.
Called Three Rivers is the fake town that this fake school is in.
I've always really liked Pennsylvania. Never lived there, but it's a good state.
Okay. I don't think I've ever been to Pennsylvania, if I can be completely honest.
I don't think I've been to Pennsylvania. Maybe through it, but never in it.
Oh, I've hung out. It's kind of, there's ups and downs, but I liked it. It's a good state.
Yeah, I've never needed any coal, so I've never gone. So that's what they're big for, right?
That's like one side of the state.
Steel and coal.
But near you're totally spot on. So this is like a little steel coal suburb.
And Philly cheesesteaks.
You do love a Philly cheesesteak.
All right. Well, someone's dad works in some sort of mine in this TV show. Yeah, I think this is going to be my first thought is like, oh, is this going to be kind of like Freaks and Geeks, but probably like not on the full comedy spectrum, and it's actually going to be more of a teen, like more dramatic. Freaks and Geeks was just silly for the most part.
I feel
so that's what I'm going to go.
That's a really good prediction.
Freaks and Geeks, but dramatic. That's what I think this show is.
I feel like my recollection of this show is just like hearing the show title and being confused as to like, what does so-called mean? Like, what does that even mean in like the phrase my so-called life? It's like, is it like putting quotes around life? Like my life?
Yeah.
Like if you would even call this a life.
Yeah. That's like what teenagers do all the time. Yeah.
It's just going to be 10 teenage kids sitting around going, man, I can't wait for college. This sucks. My dad's dumb.
He smells like coal.
My damn coal dad. He's smelly and sooty. Yeah, I'm kind of just ready to go into the first episode, to be honest. I think we know it's like a high school drama. We don't really know what it's going to be. Claire, is there anything that you want to divulge from like the one episode you've seen that maybe we should keep our eyes out or like look for? Or do you want us to go in pretty?
My memory is not as good as yours when it comes to TV shows. I just know that I tried to watch it online, but I don't really remember what happened. I do have a feeling though that Claire Danes' character, like when you were saying Freaks and Geeks, comparing it to that, I do think you're right. It's going to be more dramatic. There's going to be more tears probably in this show. Maybe they're going to deal with some tougher issues. We'll see. I think that there's going to be like a little brother who's annoying. That's just my guess. There's always he's going to have like a Batman poster. Yes, that's where I'm going to get my Batman.
That's where the Batman comes in. All right. Cool. All right. Well, hey, let's just do it. Let's just watch this first episode. It's obviously called Pilot because the world hates me. So we're just going to do it. We're going to get into... That's why it got canceled. They can't even name their shows. We're going to get into the first episode of My So-Called Life, the pilot. And we'll see you after that. All right, we are back from the pilot episode of My So-Called Life. Amazon called it My So Called Life, but Wikipedia calls it The Pilot. So, there's that. In absence of Jimmy, I guess I can read the episode synopsis.
Yeah, you haven't done this in a while.
No, it's been a minute. See if I can read still. All right. As Angela Chase starts her sophomore year at Liberty High, she dyes her hair red and abandons her best friend Sharon for her outgoing new friend Raeanne. She starts reading Anne Frank's Diary of a Young Girl, which she greatly enjoys, feeling that she relates to Anne Frank in some ways. This episode establishes her romantic interest in Jordan Catalano.
Yeah, it's Catalano.
That's Jared Leto. She lies to her parents that she's staying at Raeanne's, and instead, she, Raeanne, and Ricky head to a club but are unable to gain access. The two girls are hit on by some guys in the parking lot. After a confrontation, a cop drives them home, and Jordan notices Angela in the backseat of the police car.
Yeah.
And that's where that ends.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part. It's like we kind of, besides, like, I guess we have Angela, who's Claire Danes, who is main character for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then Angela has a dad and a mom and a little sister.
Yep.
And I mean, I guess they pretty much feel like your very typical 90s family.
Mm-hmm.
Like right down to the meatloaf and mashed potatoes dinner, and like, yeah, very 90s.
Right down to your daughter dyed her hair red, so you're gonna act like a huge bitch in front of her friends for no reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the mom played it off kind of cool. Like, my mom wouldn't have been that cool if I had dyed my hair.
I just love that. I mean, as an adult now, like if I had a kid and I came home and like they dyed their hair, I'd be like, oh my God, you dyed your hair? That's absolutely totally fine.
Yeah, I feel like I would be like, whoa, you did that yourself? Did you clean up the bathroom?
Yeah, like, if anything, I'd be like, is there a mess I'm going to find?
Yeah,
and they'd be like, no.
And if they're like, nope, I did it, I'd be like, cool, looks good. Looks even.
Yeah, it didn't look bad.
Dude, if I had had my hair that color in high school, I wouldn't have been able to go to school. Like I wouldn't have been allowed. No, my school would not have allowed me in because I would have been too red.
Oh,
so
that's silly too.
But I feel like that's how my mom probably acted in the 90s. Was much more like those parents where it's like, oh my gosh, you're gonna be like
mm-hmm.
doing my laundry. Like I remember my stepmom one time like finding a piece of laundry and was just like, you're going to hell because you have this, and I was like, what? Yeah. It was a thong. I didn't want panty lines, but I was in high school and I wasn't supposed to be doing that because that was slutty. You guys didn't have that?
You were a slutty high schooler, Clay.
I was not. My brother's listening to this. Come on.
I think there's part of that that's like it was not only supposed to be that like her hair is wild and whatever, but just that her mom is concerned that her like little girl is growing up.
Well, yeah. And she's hanging out with other people.
Yeah,
or something.
Hanging out with people they don't know, and like not doing yearbook anymore. It feels a little bit like she's like slipping away. Yeah,
I mean, there is something to say where I assume like a parent maybe has some sort of mild intuition or thoughts of like, these new kids, you dyed your hair, maybe blah, 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 other stuff. You quit your thing. Are you going in a weird direction?
Mm-hmm.
Are you starting to be bad? Are you going to break the law?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to do drugs now?
Well, she kind of is doing bad shit, right? She's going to like big, massive house parties on Thursday nights, which also, I'm sorry, there was like a mosh pit, a live band. Like,
that's a noise violation for sure.
There is no way that's happening on a Thursday night. And
that would have been the coolest party I maybe would ever go to just still today.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
If we were allowed to go to parties and people could congregate without
that did make
spreading
me feel
disease and breaking the law, and someone was like, want to go to this party? And I like showed up, I'd be like, this might be too cool for me.
Yeah. The weirdest part, or the most unbelievable part of that party was like Jared Leto's character Jordan was like hanging out inside, and then eventually his friends come in. He's like, "Hey Jordan, this place bites. Let's go." And I'm like, "What? This looks like the most fun party ever."
There's no way that place bit.
There's a lot of mud. That would have been not great.
There was a surprisingly large amount of mud. Yeah, Angela fell in the mud, and I was like, of course she fell in the mud, you know? And what else was I going to say? Oh, just back in the hair thing, I know one of my friends in high school, like, dyed his hair, like, blue one time. And my parents were like, if you dye your hair blue, you're not going to be allowed, like, in the house, like, kind of thing. Yeah. And, like, I'm like...
Did you want to go immediately dye your hair blue? Because that's so Josh. Like, put a limit on me. I'm going to break it. My hair will be green. Yeah. You didn't say green.
I mean, I probably wouldn't, I mean, I didn't care. I don't think I wanted colored hair, so I didn't do it. But I feel like if I like wanted it, I probably just I would have done it anyway, and they would have let me inside. It's just idle threats, you know, obviously.
Blue hair, how outrageous.
Just funny. I know I took a note that they really captured the irrational nature of high school, like in this episode.
How do you mean?
I just feel like you know, like, I mean, Angela's like, obviously just through this episode, you kind of see like she's now in a period of trying to find herself, and like she just kind of like irrationally like just stopped hanging out with her like old friend. Maybe even just for a little bit, just to like hang out with this new Raeanne girl and dyed her hair, and then she quit a thing that she probably actually still likes, but like is just doing something different. But then her friend also like corners her in the bathroom and is like, "You suck and I hate you now. I can't believe it. Go hang out with your best friend Raeanne." And then just like her interactions with like her mom and her dad like fighting like in front and like trying to take side. It's just everything was like everyone was a little like off the hook a little bit, but I'm just like, yeah, I feel like that's what high school feels like in your own head as like a high school
everything
kid.
Is the most important thing ever. And
yeah, that's what I mean by like irrational. Like everything's so important when like in reality I'm watching it and I go, nothing in high school matters. I mean, like, it matters for, like, your development and becoming, like, a person and learning how to socialize, and you got to learn some stuff so you're not a big, stupid dummy. But, like, it's not, like, you know, high school's over, you restart, you do something else, you go to college, you do whatever, everything's fine. Like, it's almost nothing in high school is the end of the world.
Yeah. I think that high school, though, is, like, the only point in your life where you can kind of do what Angela is doing, where it's almost like you get to try out different personalities. And see what it's that in, like, into.
Freshman year of college. You know?
Well, yeah, maybe more freshman year of college when your parents aren't watching you. But I was also kind of more like an Angela where it was like, I want to push my parents' buttons. Or, I don't know, she did go, like, hug her mom. So maybe I wasn't quite like Angela. But I thought it was interesting seeing that. But then it was also watching her try to be like cool and be late for classes or skip classes, but then like, oh, but I still got to get to biology. Like that's still important to me to like get these good grades, and kind of watching that like toggle between like, do I do the cool thing or what these other kids are doing, or do I do what I want to do? It's pretty important, I guess. I don't know.
Part of me was like, hey, Angela, find your middle. You obviously like respect some rules and I think you like school. So just go to class and do that, and, you know, be a little mischievous with Raeanne whenever you want to. But, like, she's not, well,
her, like, one teacher looking out had, like, a sad lunch and bra straps that kept falling down. And I kept thinking, like, oh, shit, is that what I'm like as a teacher? Like, they just see me as, like, oh, man, look at this lady's lunch. This is so depressing.
Just falling apart.
I was actually going to ask you if you saw yourself in her or not. Like, is that a typical Claire?
Well, I joked. Well, first off, I'd be wearing a cardigan because this teacher had like a tank on, and then the bra straps kept falling. But I would say that like undergarments and things like that you probably don't think about regularly as a teacher, you have to like pay attention to and like notice. Like, man, I've had a lot of like weird situations happen where, you know, I think I look great, and then I like lean over and a kid's like, There's things called cami secrets.
I don't even know what a cami secret is.
They like cover it. It was like a infomercial from like the early 2000s that it clipped into your like bra straps, and it would be like a little cloth so you wouldn't have like your boobs out. Google it. It's like a camisole, but like only a little like piece of it. Like, you know when people had mock turtlenecks? You know what that
like
is?
as in they're only wearing the top part of the turtleneck?
Like, I can imagine what that is.
No,
but
so a mock turtleneck is just, you get a turtleneck and then it's got kind of like a yoke, like just like a neck around it, and then you put like a sweater over it. Because a turtleneck and a sweater is super hot, right? It's a mock. You guys need it.
I know these things exist. I just think that if you want to wear a turtleneck and you want to wear a sweater and you're wearing a mock turtleneck, you're trying too hard. You don't need it. Just stop.
Dude, I want to go buy a mock turtleneck right now because now I think that would be kind of fun. And it'd be like a built-in mask. So great. No, I'm kidding. It wouldn't really. But it could maybe, I don't know, double.
Fair enough. I felt, Claire, I did feel bad for that teacher because she was like, sorry, I have to eat. I don't know, like cutbacks or whatever. And I was like, you should have a mandated 30-minute paid lunch. Like, come on.
Yeah. Man, her union needs to start working.
Chill in the teacher's lounge.
You don't want to go there. But I would say that is like a tough thing about being a teacher, especially if you like see a student that you want to help or talk to or deal with, and then of course they don't necessarily want to talk to you, so you're going to give up your time, your prep, or your lunch to like track them down. But when she like described how sad the lunch was what really hit home, because I was just like, oh man, like it is kind of depressing to see like someone pull out like a gross like warm sandwich out of like a filing cabinet they locked up earlier in the day.
Hey, Jim on The Office apparently ate like a ham sandwich like every single day for lunch. They made fun of him in like one episode about it in The Office. We're like, yeah, Jim, you come to work and you eat your same like ham sandwich every day and blah, 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 blah. I think it was when he was like trying to move to Philly or something.
Ooh, Pennsylvania.
But when she pulled that out and they were like, what a sad lunch. And I was like, that's fine. Not everyone's eating leftovers every single day, man. You like woke up and you made a sandwich for lunch. You're fine.
I love a sandwich. I had a sandwich for lunch today.
Yeah, right? I had a sandwich for dinner tonight. And it was delicious. Toasted the bread. That's the key to a good sandwich, is just toast the bread.
I've been into making Monte Cristo sandwiches. I've been doing that a lot.
Of course you have.
It's so gross when I watch him like throw on the jelly, and then it's, I don't know.
What the hell is in a Monte Cristo?
Oh yeah, Joe.
Did I get this sandwich right?
I don't know. You've been calling it a Monte Cristo forever.
It's like.
No, it's not. It's just a sandwich you're eating right now.
It's turkey, and then on like one side there's like cheese and mayo and brown mustard, and then on the other side there's like jelly.
Is there now?
Yeah.
Have you actually like looked this up?
Yeah.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up right now.
I'm assuming
Dude, it looks like a French toast sandwich.
Yeah.
That's
weird.
What Joe likes to eat right now.
Yeah, actually, now that I think of it, I think I have seen.
Wait, this one is French toast. It's like full-on powdered sugar French toast.
Yeah, I think they've done it with French toast, or like you just put like egg on the outside. But I just do it sans egg or French toast, just the jelly.
That's very more breakfast than I would want. Mm-hmm. I think that time of day. I don't know.
It's great.
I also felt like in the show, like we kind of touched on a little bit, Josh, you did, but like her interactions with her parents were really like seemingly lifelike when the dad was like uncomfortable with her in a towel, and then she's like, God, this is annoying. Like, why does my dad have to be weird about this now because I'm getting older? And
also, kind of, why was her dad weird about it anyway, though, when she was like walking from her, like she was in a towel in their own house? Unless he's like being a creep, like
yeah, and it's his own child who he's watched grown up for like her entire life.
Yeah,
maybe because you guys don't have the parts, it does get really weird. Like especially like, well, I only had brothers, so like that was also weird. But also like my dad through puberty, because it's like, you know, you go from being able to like, I don't know, like do more normal stuff, and then it's all weird because you have boobs or you menstruate.
I mean, I guess, yeah, no, I mean, it can definitely obviously be weird, but I thought it would be more weird on like Angela's side than on her dad's side.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And Angela didn't seem like she thought it was weird. She was just walking back to her room.
Mm-hmm.
See, yeah, no, it's more weird on the other people's side because you're just like living in your body, doing what you've always done, but everybody else starts acting weird. But I was just surprised, like, why wouldn't the dad just be like, yo, go put on, like, a robe? Like, and that's what the mom said. Yeah, they're supposed to be, like,
chummy.
Well, yeah, that's, like, what the mom said, but he was like, oh, no, I can't say it. It's like, oh, my gosh. Just communicate, man. I'm not a fan of the dad after the end of that episode. We didn't talk about that.
What? Yeah, what?
Dad was with another lady.
Is that what? Okay. So, yeah she gets Angela gets dropped off by the cop by her house, and the cop doesn't is nice, which is, an odd thing to hear today. But then he lets her just go to her door alone or whatever. Well, her friend Brian was reading in a tree with a nightlight attached to the tree, just FYI.
Mm-hmm.
he had like a light in the tree. It was kind of a great setup for him. But then she walked back, and what I saw is I just noticed that her dad was standing by a car, and I was like, oh, he was with somebody, but I didn't catch it because it was a really fast kind of cut. So it was a lady, huh?
It was a lady, but they also seemed to be having some sort of conversation that it seemed like the lady was sad and the dad was talking a lot. He
was supposed to be with his brother.
Mm-hmm.
That is not his brother.
Yeah.
So no matter what, he's not being honest.
They did say also oh, you're hanging out with your brother again for the second time this week, and he was
mm-hmm.
well, him and blah 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 aren't together anymore, so he needs support.
Mm-hmm.
He said something along those lines that it sounded like his brother is not together with somebody anymore.
Yeah, it's going through rough times.
Maybe it's just his brother's ex-lady.
What would have been great is if they had gone to that club, right, which they couldn't get in. So they're outside waiting for their friend to let them in. And her dad had showed up, and then she was so drunk that she was like, Dad, get me in. That would have been great.
Her dad showed up with just some young hot chick, and he was like, oh no. And then they made this weird pact that she wouldn't be able to tell her mom that, but he wouldn't tell his wife that she was drunk at a bar,
Yeah, perfect. That's how good parents do it, right?
Yeah, you got to make deals.
Make deals, make vows of secrecy to not tell mom.
Keep secrets.
Just deep secrets. I mean, so how did you feel about it all together, Claire?
Okay, of the three of us, I think and I'm going to be wrong, you're going to shut me down, but I think I'm more of the target audience, and I'm more into this sort of drama than you guys.
Claire, you are absolutely correct about that.
I know, I'm so right. I could even watch you while you were watching the show, and I'm just oh man, we're losing Josh.
Well, you're losing me every time I'm looking at the screen. Joe's texting while we're watching. He's actually probably IMDbing stuff. That's what I imagine.
Do you have a lot of facts that you learned on IMDb while you were...
Most of the stuff I was looking up was people's ages.
I looked up all their ages too, and I wrote them down.
Yeah. Because the thing that when you first see Angela, Claire Danes, I was like, oh, she's much younger than I thought she was going to be. I thought this is going to be 17-year-old Claire Danes, but no, she's a freshman in high school, 14 or 15.
Yeah.
And she's
actually 15.
Yeah, she's actually 15.
See, I read 14.
I don't know when her birthday.
Different sources.
She was born in 79, and I don't know if it was late 79 or early 79. So she was 14 or 15.
All right.
But that first scene where she's walking through the school and she's looking at dudes, and then all those dudes, I'm like, oh my god, these guys look like they're played by 35-year-olds. And then when they later in the show cut over to Jared Leto for the first time, I looked up his age and he's 23.
I read 21. Weird. How did we get different numbers? different.
I mean,
websites.
I read up I looked up his age, and I minus hit the year he was born from 1994.
Yeah. So maybe it was filmed earlier.
Oh,
or
maybe
something?
maybe I looked at the filming ages because he was 21 when they filmed it. She was 14, according to.
Okay, that lines up.
I mean, that makes more sense because I was looking up date of air, not filming date.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I like how you guys did like actual math calculations. I think
Yeah, because I just wanted to get a general vibe on how old this dude is, and like he was in his early 20s.
Had Claire
Raeanne
Danes
was
done a lot before this? Was she a child actress? Does anyone know Claire Danes' career?
I mean, before like Romeo and Juliet, I don't think I knew who Claire Danes was. So.
What? Disappointing. I mean, I don't know. But it was interesting to imagine like just a 14-year-old in that position. But I was kind of intrigued that they chose to go with a child actress, like, and they didn't put like someone 24 in that position as like a freshman in high school. So it was,
yeah, I mean, you've seen some CW shows where everyone in high school looks like they're 30.
Yeah, that's pretty much, most shows, right? I guess now there's maybe a lot more like kids in shows, but I was also surprised when I was reading up about this show that it was like the first teen drama. Like this is like the first Dawson's, the first OC, the first Awkward. It was like the first show about high school. And they did a pretty surprising job. What'd you find out, Joe?
Yeah, My So-Called Life was like her first big gig. She was in some pilots in Law and Order before that.
I've seen her in Law and Order. It's a pretty fun fact. I don't know.
Yeah, but I had no idea how old Jared Leto was, apparently. I guess, like, in my mind, he's, like, been, like, 40 for, like, the entire time that I've, like, been aware of Jared Leto.
But he, like, doesn't age. He's beautiful.
Yeah, he looks exactly the
same. He stays,
same.
like, childlike and, like, kind of always look like he's, like, drunk or something.
And he's, like, almost 50.
Oh, man. I hope I look like that when I'm almost 50.
You want to look like
I
Jared
hope
Leto?
you look like Jared Leto as well when you're 50.
Like Jesus Jared Leto, like more recent.
Yeah. Joe, did you pinpoint why you don't quite like Jared Leto in this episode, or did it escape you still?
I don't know, because in this show, you kind of felt a little inoffensive. I mean, other than the fact that he's, like, early 20s and playing the, like, romantic affection of this 15-year-old. He didn't really do much. He was just sort of there and pretty, and then like he was kind of spacey at the party.
Yeah, he was just playing like the precursor to like the Beautiful Mind boy, or no, what's American
Beauty?
American Beauty.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
He was. That's like they used Jared Leto in this show as like a jumping off point for American Beauty.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, be like Jared Leto in that show. Just kind of be spacey.
And I couldn't really even get like his character Jordan. I was trying to figure out like his social standing. Like he's pretty, so I assumed that he was popular. But he's just always shown by himself. So I was just kind of wondering, like, I mean, he has friends, but like, I don't know. I couldn't place if he was like a cool kid or not, or if he was a weirdo.
I bet he rolls with some like quote unquote cool dudes in high school, but he's not like really in. It seems like to me he's like not into partying, into doing all this like that high school shit. So like when they went to the big party, he just sat inside and like watched a TV on mute and just sat there, and then. Like probably when he was with them going to the bar, and he probably went in and he probably just like hung out and like didn't really participate. So I kind of assume like in this show, Claire Danes, like they start hanging out a little bit, and they kind of find out that they're both kind of like, yeah, like there's pressures in high school, but I just want to be my own person. If I just go along.
I think his character is going to be set up that much like her friend, I just thought her name was Raeanne, and then
Raeanne?
Raeanne.
Yeah.
Yep. Just like Raeanne, like there's some messed up home life sitch, I feel like, in this kid's life, just based on his behaviors. because that's what I would notice of like a student. So like someone who's doing that, it's like he's avoiding being home, but he's not he's not super outgoing or like
One of the
into
things
the hangout.
one of the things that Angela mentioned in like a voiceover was that like he's always closing his eyes, like it hurts to look at things.
Yeah, that was, he kept like looking up and like closing his eyes.
Yeah. Which is kind
was
of
a
a
weird-
funny thing, but yeah, maybe there's like stuff going on when he closes his eyes.
She talks about like things hurting a lot. Like, wasn't that her like whole like before you have sex with someone, what do you want them to say? Like, you're so beautiful, it hurts to look at you.
Yeah.
Dude, that's gonna happen. They're gonna.
It's a
say
weird
that
thing
in
to
the
say.
show.
It's a weird thing to
is.
say to someone.
Dude, can we talk about my favorite character though? We haven't talked about him.
Oh yeah,
Ricky.
who? Oh,
Ricky.
I think we're gonna love Ricky. I was really surprised the cop didn't run after him when.
Well,
you
he
know.
knew to get out of there. He
Yeah.
saw the cop and he was like, "Peace."
Well, good call. Because I don't think he would have been dropped off at home. But yeah, I liked Ricky. He was the first openly gay character and a teenager on TV.
Fun fact.
oh, cool.
But I thought that was interesting how she like brought that up to her parents. They're like, he wears eyeliner, and they're like, well, he's like bi or something. Like, it's fine. Like, it's very like.
And his mom was like, "Bye? What does that mean? Do you hear
And then
this?"
her like tiny little sister was like, it means bisexual, and her
Yeah.
mom was like, what in the world? I'm dying right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that poor little sister. She just wanted attention so much. In fact, my favorite was in that one scene where she's just doing a handstand and you just see her like little feet just like being like, look at me, and her little feet are hanging out. Like very much like a little sibling. You guys weren't as into that. Okay.
I mean, I couldn't do a handstand.
You should try.
I thought it was really funny when it cut back to her and all you saw was her like two legs and her feet up in the air and she was like, I'm still going. That was funny.
I was impressed.
That was funny. Hey, let's get into predictions.
Okay.
Who wants? Claire, do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm not good at this, guys. I get real anxious about making predictions for some unknown reason. Okay. So I think that the English class, we didn't really talk about it. They were really focused on Anne Frank. But I think they've moved on to Shakespeare. So they'll be reading some Shakespeare in English class. I feel like that sounds about right. Parents are living in separate bedrooms. We're going to know about that.
Okay.
And then there's going to clearly be a breakup because this is a teenage show. So like there's clearly going to be a breakup. And then in that breakup, someone's going to say, it hurts to look at you.
Oh,
Ugh.
God.
Yeah, because
Ouch.
she talked about that. So I feel like they're going to make a connection. Although we don't even know if she knew this was the end when she was writing it. So
No. I've got that Jordan is dating Raeanne. I think that gets
that
connected up.
Bia.
Yeah.
She's
How
stealing.
could he?
That's a good prediction.
Yeah. Just gonna steal
You're
him away.
better at this than me.
I think Mr. Chase. I don't know that we caught his name, but Angela's dad. I think he dies.
Whew.
Yeah.
From a broken heart.
Whew.
Yeah. I think Angela says my so-called life. Like she's like writing a paper or something. It says my so-called life.
Ooh.
And I think Jordan writes something mysterious in Angela's yearbook. It's like, can't wait to hang out with you more, Hackus.
I feel like Brian's more likely to do that than Jordan. Brian, the guy in the tree.
Tree guy. I forgot about
Brian.
Tree guy.
Brian loves Angela and only wants to smooch her.
And she doesn't even see him.
It hurts to look at him.
So yeah, it hurts to look at him. All right, mine were there's a school dance.
Ooh, that's a really good prediction.
That's the wedding of high school
Yeah.
shows. I think someone overdoses in this episode.
Wow.
You know it's gonna be Raeanne or Ricky.
I if it's gonna be anybody, it's gonna be Raeanne. I think Angela and Jordan smooch.
Okay.
Oh.
And then I couldn't come up with a fourth one, so I just wrote tacos.
Oh, there's 4? I get to make up another one?
You only had 3?
Do you
I
got
had
one right
3.
now?
The little sister, what does the little sister do? She eats cheese.
A whole block of cheese.
A whole block of cheese.
Yeah, oh, the mom just hated Raeanne because she ate cheese. It was like...
That was something I lolled at.
Because the mom said, oh, here's some cheese. So then Raeanne, like, dug in.
It was literally a block of cheese, and the mom was just like, well, here's some cheese, and there's some drinks or something. And then the kids went in and just, like, broke up the block of cheese and started eating it. They're just like, yeah, good cheese.
The kids did what kids will do when you say, here's a hunk of food. They ate all of it, you know?
It made me want to eat cheese.
Cheese sounds so good. Let's just all eat cheese while we watch the final episode.
Yes.
It's called In Dreams Begin Responsibilities.
What?
Oh, deep.
Yeah, that's like a bad... That's the title.
In
Dreams Begin Responsibilities.
So you're like dreaming, and that's where you're... Oh.
Well,
are you responsible?
Let's find out. Let's get into this last episode and see what the hell that title means. We'll see you after that, listeners. Hey, everybody, we are back. We're done with the finale of My So-Called Life. It was called In Dreams Begin Responsibilities.
Yeah.
It is a mouthful of words for that last episode. I have a little bit of a write-up. It's a lot shorter than the other one, and we'll go through it after I read it. And this is it right now. Everybody in Three Rivers is having weird dreams lately. Jordan, hoping to win Angela back, enlists Brian to help him say the right words, resulting in the letter. Is it Delia?
I think it's Delia.
Delia.
Right? Delia?
That sounds a lot more correct.
Is that the girl?
That girl, yeah. Delia has a crush on Ricky. Patty dreams about her old beau. And Graham cooks for the investors. Ricky's Odyssey and the MSCL season both conclude. MSCL just stands for My So-Called Life.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
assuming.
That makes sense.
It's so interesting how much more effort is always put into the first episode's write-up than the last. Every single time.
Well, so on Wikipedia, the first 11 episodes have a pretty solid write-up, and then 12 through 19 are like 1 to 2 sentences.
Somebody just got bored.
Yeah.
Season falls off.
Oh, well, hey, just FYI, guys, just a real quick peek is episode 12 of My So-Called Life. In 2009, TV Guide ranked it. It's number 44 on its list of the 100 greatest episodes.
What number again? 11?
Number 44. And no, sorry, episode 12.
12. I might have to look that one up.
It's called Selfless. Oh, well, now that you say number 11, this is crazy. So number 12 in 2009 was number 44.
Okay.
It was called Self-Esteem. In 1997, TV Guide ranked episode number 11 its 37th best episode of all time of TV.
But they never had 12.
I don't understand that
so,
question.
was 12 also on the list in 1997? Or did 12 just show up until, whatever that other list was?
I don't have the answer. I know in 97, 11 was number 37, and in 2009, 12 was number 44.
That's just interesting that they would switch episodes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who is this editor of TV Guide? Let's call him
Number
up.
11 was called Life of Brian, and number 12 was Self-Esteem. So according to TV Guide, at least at some point, they had both of those episodes in high esteem. So...
Do we trust TV Guide? Have you guys gone against them or agreed with them a lot? Or
I have no comments on TV Guide whatsoever. I've never read a TV Guide. I have.
You never had one at your house?
Yeah, but I've never
Were
read
you
an
like a
article in
TV
it.
Guide family that got a TV Guide?
No, we didn't. We just got the paper, and you just read the TV listings in the paper. Remember when you went into a paper and you read what was going to be on TV that week? And
Yeah.
that's how you found out?
You know what's crazy? That's still in the paper.
Really?
Because I look through the digital Star Tribune, and then I'll go as far as it's like, oh man, you guys still list all the TV stuff. That's just weird. Who looks at this?
Yeah, and like movie listings too. That's where you'd go.
Well, you call
Yeah.
for movie time. But did you guys get a TV guide at your house, Joe?
No.
No wonder you guys run this podcast, because you guys didn't have a TV guide. You guys didn't know what was going on.
I mean, I grew up in a household where my parents thought like paying for cable for most of the time growing up was like too much. It was too expensive, or they just didn't care and they didn't want it. I mean, when they had it, man, that Golf Channel was on a lot, you know. and I sure watched TRL after school on MTV.
Dude, I had to go to friends' house. That's like the time my parents got rid of cable was TRL. Like, I'm jealous. Because that's when, like, cable got good.
Sometimes I had to go to friends' houses to watch TRL. Sometimes I could go home and watch TRL.
Dude, somebody was just saying to me, like, how they need to eliminate, like, all of the channels that have golf and make them educational programming for right now. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, there are a lot of golf channels when it comes to TV. Like,
why would just replacing the Golf Channel with education? It's not like anyone's going to turn to the Golf Channel to find education.
Well,
they'd have to
you'd have to create a marketing campaign here, but you know.
Do you think they're going to make money by switching their entire demographic over to something completely opposite and then also spending money to market that it's different now?
So what's more important, making money or the education of our children?
Well, when you're a golf business, probably making money it turns to golf.
Let's
I mean,
just
if they
add
wanted
some
to
more
do that,
channels then.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, I don't know that we're at a lack of channels. Or like, I think they could just make new channels if they want.
Yeah. They can just make a golf-centered learning channel.
Well, do you use antenna at all, Josh?
No, I don't watch any live TV ever.
Okay, I do enjoy a live TV moment with our antenna moment. A lot of moments there. But with the way it is with digital now, you get Channel 5 has 12 different versions. So
Yeah.
It's unlimited. I'm sure it is. I don't.
It's limited. It's just there's a lot of limits.
Yeah.
Right? Is what you're saying.
So, you can watch all of your shows.
Yeah. So back to the TV show that this podcast is about. The very first part of this write-up is everybody in Three Rivers is having weird dreams.
Mm.
But that was the first 10 minutes maybe of this episode, and they just basically never went back to it.
And it's
so
really just like Angela and her mom, right? Were there any other dreams talked about?
Yes, a lot of dreams were talked about. Every single friends came up to Angela and talked about their dreams, or they'd be like, I had weird dreams last night. Every single character brought up dreams.
I guess but those are the only two that we saw.
It was only in the first 10 minutes of the show. They didn't.
I think maybe you checked out a little bit. Maybe you weren't as into it. But no, it was later on in the episode, because I remember Brian and Jared and the friend that she left and now she's friends with again. I don't remember her name. Sharon?
I think her name was Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Sharon was talking about dreams. There's a lot of unanswered questions in this episode that I just don't know.
I think that the emphasis on dreams was shoved way down based on all the other things that were happening. The mom and the dad both kind of pining over people, and the dad definitely is going to kiss that lady if there was a season 2.
Oh, I was yelling at the TV.
Yeah.
Which was
And then obviously the biggest, the two biggest things that I thought were happening in this episode were obviously the Jordan, Angela, Brian three-way of writing love was happening. And then the Ricky and Delia.
Delia.
What's her name?
I think it's Delia.
I feel like that's just not the right way to spell that name, so I don't know why.
How is it spelled?
You know what? I just can't read it. I just can't read it for some reason.
I'm going to check it. But yeah, so yeah, that was an interesting little love connection with the three. I also thought it was, so like that was Ricky's big moment because Ricky was going to maybe even try to like her, to maybe go on a date with this girl who clearly had a thing with Brian, but Brian was a jerk. And so Brian still wanted her.
When I will have to admit, when she was like, Brian just uses women and then like does whatever he wants, and I was like, Brian?
Yeah, Brian and women?
Have you seen Brian?
I also really enjoyed that they were all working on the play. Was it Our Town? Which I have a lot of connections with.
I don't know what that is.
I've seen that play.
I was in that play in college. Yeah. I had like one line.
I saw Claire in that play in college.
No, but my mom and her boyfriend Bruce did come in town to see it. It was weird. But anyway, I thought it was funny because they were hanging out. So they have a new English teacher, which was kind of disappointing. And he's a guy that's also in Grey's Anatomy. So like I knew him as a character actor previously. But like his teacher was like super creepy. Like, we're all hanging out at my house and yeah, sure, I'll drive you home. Let's go get some pizza. But I did like how they were hustling for tickets. I totally got sidetracked by the play, and then I realized I was supposed to be paying attention to Ricky and
and Delia.
I see. I got you in it now too. You can't say that lady's name.
I am now like remembering I was going to look that up, and then I got sidetracked by talking about Our Town. You guys have to see Our Town. Nothing.
I mean, I've seen it at least one time in my life. Joe, you need to watch Our Town.
I would agree.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
I guess. So I mean, going from like least important maybe to most important stuff is the mom and dad. The mom was gonna like meet with an old ex-boyfriend to talk about the restaurant business because the dad was trying to become a chef and own his own restaurant, it sounded like. But he was also working with I'm assuming she was like his business manager or something like that. Maybe business partner as well.
She was clearly the lady from the first episode though.
I think so.
Was she?
Yeah, that was the same lady.
I mean, in the end of that, it's just the dad and her hugged, and it was like, oh, you guys are gonna kiss, but they didn't. But there's something there.
Yeah, there's a long hug
for the season 2 that never happened. It sounded like his mom, like the dad eventually called her and was like, oh, I'll admit I was a little jealous, even though like he clearly wasn't, and like that other lady just like basically told her that he should say like I'm jealous to make her feel better or something. So also the mom seemed a little bit more like reasonable, laid back, and likable in this episode. She seemed like almost a cool mom. Like
it was her
everyone
haircut.
Was it her haircut?
Yeah,
she cut a bunch of her hair off and looked and was just like, let's party.
Yeah, everyone had haircuts. It was a lot different. You're saying it's just a long time from the pilot, or what?
Jason's hair was super long. It would look so much better.
Jordan.
Who are you
Jordan?
You talking about Jordan?
Do I keep calling Jordan Jason in my head?
I
Sorry,
think you called
guys.
him Jared earlier. Actually, too.
It's any J name. Is this guy?
Yeah.
Well, because Jared is the actor's name, right?
Yeah.
So like that's also too many J names.
And then going up from like maybe least, it seems like Raeanne isn't there. Like something happened throughout the episode that that Raeanne is not like best friends anymore with
anyone.
Angela or with anybody.
Yeah. Ricky doesn't like her either.
Friends. We don't know why though. I would kind of want to find out why.
Yeah.
But it was in episode 11.
Oh, it could be, or 12. Those.
Yeah.
Great
I mean, I'll be
episodes.
honest. Reading that those 2 episodes of the show were so highly regarded at some point makes me kind of be like, oh, 17 more episodes doesn't really seem like that much work, you know? I bet I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, Raeanne's having trouble. And then I guess like I thought one of the more fun ones was, just Ricky kind of dealing with his like social status, and also his sexuality, kind of trying to figure out like, because I mean, what did he say to Brian? He's like, it would be so much easier if I just liked girls and I could date.
Yeah, he was like, this is my chance to be straight.
I thought that was crazy. And then when she came up to him and was like talking to him at the weird teacher's house, it was like he asked her out on a date, and then she goes, but aren't you gay? And then he has to think about it, and then he's like, yeah, but I just don't tell people. I thought that was a really interesting scene, and it was totally like a high schooler would be dealing with that. I mean, I don't necessarily think it would be a 2020 moment, but maybe it would be. I don't know.
I mean, I thought it was good. I mean, I think it probably accurately, maybe to a point at least, portrayed a little bit of like what's possibly going on with like a gay kid in high school, and just going like, how do I deal with it? And just obviously, he's like thinking just it would be easier if I was straight, like it would just be easier.
Yeah, but deep down knowing like who he is inside, but being told that he should be differently.
But I also love that he was like out as bi, like as well, because I mean, I also went to Catholic school, but I just knew so many closeted gay guys in high school. Catholic schools really do a number on you. And theater, but kind of a connection there. But it's interesting to see how it could be, and how it could have been like more accepted and open, and kind of like what I wish these high schoolers had gone through at the time. I really like that scene, but that doesn't have anything on the scene with the mom and the milk. That was my favorite one. I feel like...
Well, walk us through the mom and the milk.
No way, because I'm going to call him Jared again. I'll try not to. So Jason comes by the house because the mom's expecting... Jordan! Gosh. Jared, Jordan.
At least if you're calling him Jared, it's the actor's name.
Yeah.
I'm writing it down. Okay, Jordan...
Do you have a whiteboard on your lap?
I do. So I can take notes or draw pictures. Jordan comes over looking for
Angela.
I was getting there. Do you want to... Joe, take it over.
No, I was just helping with the name.
Okay.
So Jared comes over looking for Claire.
Yeah, right? And now I'm going to call him Jared again. And so the mom invites him in, which is also really surprising considering how she didn't like people ate her cheese earlier. But I think she let him in.
I'm telling you, she's more laid back.
Yeah, she's
now.
chill.
She's more
giving out the cheese.
Laid back.
Well, there's also that moment where you're like, oh, he looks kind of like this high school boyfriend I had. Like, oh, I want to find, which was a little creepy to me. But she comes.
I kind of thought the mom was going to kiss Jared.
Oh, that would be so messed up.
It was a 2% thought, but I thought it could happen.
Whoa. But
keep going with them. What happened with the milk? So
she makes him a sandwich, and then like pours him a big glass of milk, and then pours him another big glass of milk, and then, well, granted, they're like talking, but the whole time this dude is just pounding the milk.
Yeah. Just chugging it.
And he clearly needed a sandwich. He needs somebody to take care of him. And it sounded like she was enjoying that role at that moment. But I could not imagine going over to somebody's house and then just being like, you got any milk? Like, let's just have a full-on sandwich. Let's talk about life right now. Like, I would never have done that in high school.
I have never done that with a parent, but I have definitely gone over to people's houses during high school and then just eaten all the food.
Drank all their milk.
But not just with the parent.
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I've done it when the parents were home, and I've just done it by myself, or like also when no one was home and it wasn't my house and it was like my friend's house kind of thing.
So you like walked in your friend's house and were like, I'm going to have the Cheetos.
I mean, they knew I was coming over, but like I knew the garage code, so I just like let myself in and fixed myself some food and hung out. Until they got home and then we hung out.
But you just were like, I'm gonna full on eat.
I got there, I was hungry. And
that's awesome.
When you're a parent in like a suburb, you just like have a packed like fridge, and it's just ready for you to your kids friends and your kid to eat.
Yeah.
So I
You're a
ate.
growing boy.
Maybe that should be my goal in life, to have like a packed fridge so like people can come just eat it.
I
lot
feel
of
like
milk.
that's maybe a good goal, but maybe like just not, because you're just going to end up wasting food, like in reality.
Yeah. You're probably
You guys
right.
already have a lot of snacks lying around that's like perfect for people coming over. I don't think you
Yeah.
need like more sandwich meats than you and Joe can handle.
We got granola balls.
I ate them.
Those
they're
are
good,
great.
though.
You introduced me to granola balls this weekend, and they were great.
Highly recommend them.
Yeah. So Jared Leto, he drank like at least a fourth of a gallon of milk
Yeah.
in a scene.
A lot of milk.
In only the takes they used. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how much milk did he drink? And then kind of the last thing about this episode was obviously that then Jared was like, or Jordan was trying to try to get Angela back, because it seems like they definitely had been dating or something during the season. And then he kind of like enlisted Brian to help him like express his feelings.
Well, it sounds like Brian was his tutor, because it also sounds like he had been diagnosed with some sort of learning disability.
Yeah, he was helping him with English. I remember the flashcards.
Yeah, so he clearly has something going on, although it's like sad that his like intervention is like another high school peer of his and not like a professional, because I think the way he described his reading level, I was like, ooh, that's bad, like that's not great, like poor kid needs some help. What did they say? I wrote it down, let's see. Yeah, a rudimentary reader with low literacy skills. Ooh, in high school. So
He's probably just dyslexic.
but Brian was his tutor, so he like goes and is like, it kind of made sense that he helped him write the letter, but I also was like, what is going on here?
He's trying to express his feelings. Brian's got a lot of feelings.
Well, Brian's trying to do what we totally saw in the first episode, and that's tell Angela that he's in love with her. Like, duh. That was clear to me in episode 1. So.
I feel like season 2, they get, like, Brian and Angela get together, clearly.
Well, we're going to have to look up some fanfics
Yeah, I
then,
know.
because season 2 never happened.
Will they or won't they?
Well, she's clearly not going to end up with Jordan.
You know what? A lot of terrible other decisions have been made besides that in someone else's life, so.
That's true.
I'm just looking up My So-Called Life Season 2 fan fiction right now.
Ooh. Can you give us a dramatic reading?
Well, I don't want to rip anyone's like written works off for real.
So you're just going to, like, paraphrase it and not say where you got it?
Well, I mean, I'm probably not going to find anything, but there are. Oh, okay.
Are there quite a few?
Yeah. Hey, just Google it, and I bet you're going to get a season 2.
All right. Hopefully it's what we want. I think it will be.
Maybe it will be. All in all, though, I almost liked this episode more than the first episode. I thought it was a little bit more serious and not like not in the irrational high school brain of like everything, no matter what, matters, and like I'm just gonna make decisions on a whim. I mean, that was pretty true to pretty much like what a high schooler thought high school was like.
Mm-hmm.
But then they kind of molded that, I think, maybe over the season to be like, this is that same, like, everything's important, but it's more palatable for, like, an older audience to watch.
I
don't know.
definitely felt like the actors themselves looked older or acted older than in the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of agreeing with what you're saying. I don't know if I like this episode more. I think it was interesting. But I think I still like the way that the first episode depicts the way like a kid thinks and lives in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm basing it off the fact that, like, at the end of the first episode, I was like, okay, I watched it. I could be done. At the end of this episode, I was like, I want to know what happens now. So, like, this episode at least makes me want to keep watching, whereas the first episode, I don't think reeled me in as much.
I love how it makes you want to keep watching, and then there's nothing after it.
Well, you know.
Like, really probably not hitting the ball out of the park there. Did you guys ever do anything as dramatic in high school as, like, writing a love letter or sitting in some girl's tree or doing any of the things that we saw in these episodes? Like, were you guys those romantic dudes in high school?
I used to have a ladder that I would put on my friend Joey's wall, and I would climb up into her room and talk to her.
Okay. Dawson's Creek over here.
I actually even messed that reference up because it was Joey that climbed into Dawson's room, I'm pretty sure. So
Same thing.
Climbing on his walls.
But no, seriously, did you guys ever do any, like, romantic gestures as high schoolers? Like,
I mean, it's like I feel like I tried at some times, but like looking back now, I feel like anything I could think of was just like a pathetic child's attempt at like not real love.
I have one. I'm like, this memory is just coming back to me now. But I have a memory of asking a girl to, like, homecoming or something, by, like, playing acoustic guitar and playing the song Slide by Goo Goo Dolls, and then, like, changing one of the lines towards the end to, like, do you want to go to homecoming with me? Which is kind of cute, but also really weird when you, like, actually know that song's about abortion.
I'm sure she didn't know that. Did she say yes?
Yeah.
Did you know that, Joe?
Did I know that at the time?
Yeah.
Probably
exactly.
not.
And Joe has literally never sung a song to me, like, to me. So, okay. Good to know the high school Joe did that.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Hey, you got that date.
I mean, yeah, I think I've definitely, it was more college at the time, but I've definitely, like, written I wrote a girl a song one time.
Oh, you guys are cute songwriters.
It's mostly embarrassing.
I did find in my box of stuff that a song that was written for me in high school. So I guess I've had a song written for me. Cody, if you're out there, it was a weird thing. But sorry, bro.
I think I've got a
.txt
file somewhere with, like, my, like, high school songs in it.
Were they, like, all written for girls and stuff?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, let's post that online. That'll be found on First and Last.
Follow us on Twitter at FandL Podcast, and maybe you'll see some Joe songs from high school.
Yeah.
I hope we find that TXT file.
Yeah. Written in, like, AOL lingo with, like, 4s for 4 and just the letter U for you.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Did you do
Shorthand.
Because he was an edgy teen. What do you mean, why? Come on, Claire. All in all, you guys gonna go back and watch this show? You only have 17 more episodes.
I think the thing, I don't know, but I think the thing that I liked about it, like, aside from the stuff that you guys talked about with, like, the characterization in the story and stuff, was just that the structure of it was, like, it wasn't like, there's a lot going on, but it wasn't like, here's a scene, and here's a scene, and here's a scene. It's like, Brian's talking to Ricky about this letter that he wrote, and then that scene continues on into Ricky talking to Angela about, like, something else. Like, everything just sort of ties together and loops together, that you don't, like, it all makes sense even though there's a lot going on. I just thought it was well done in that way. It made it feel like you're in good hands for, watching this show.
I think of the three of us, I probably am the most likely to go back and find out about why Raeanne.
Raeanne.
That's so close.
Mm-hmm.
Raeanne is
Maybe
not
you're gonna go
friends.
back and learn everyone's names.
Well, I mean, I only really spent 80 minutes with them. So yeah, I do need a little more time. I mean, it is on abc.com with like limited commercials. So like, that's free. So
I mean, it was on Amazon too. So like,
oh yeah, Amazon. Some limited commercials on there. But so yeah, maybe I could see myself doing that. I think for me, it really surprised me how sad it made me feel about high school and the fact that with everything we're going through right now, like you can't have that right now. And like I was just kind of bummed. Like,
yeah, it is kind of it did high school well. I feel like all the weird, crazy thoughts that kids feel and like think about, and all how ridiculous it is as an adult. You're like, God, just chill out, kids. Like all of that. I mean, I feel like it was pretty true to form, in that manner. So it was interesting, and I'm definitely curious about episodes 11 and 12 now for sure. So.
I feel like I ranked this higher than like a Dawson's Creek. I mean, Dawson's Creek went on forever and all of that. But like just the writing and the production I liked better than like some of those CW shows.
It's probably the reason why it got canceled. It's definitely like it's like more well made and not as in like insufferable as Dawson's Creek. And you're talking to someone who like loved Dawson's Creek growing up. Like I thought it was great, but like yeah, it's like no kids talk like Dawson's Creek people.
Mm-hmm.
And
or look like Dawson's Creek people.
Yeah, they're just, it's like kids don't talk like that. Adults don't talk like that. People don't actually talk how anybody on Dawson's Creek talks like.
A lot of the Dawson's Creek storylines too were just so far-fetched, like for high schoolers. And
yeah, doesn't like Casey make out with a teacher
when
or
Dawson
something?
went to that alternate universe that one time.
But man, good show.
It was nuts. Let's talk about how we did in the prediction world.
Oof.
You know what? I'll do mine really quick.
Oh, okay.
My number one was I said there was a school dance. No, there was not. There was a school play being.
Yeah.
But so I was close. Someone overdoses. No, everyone seemed to stay away from controlled substances today.
Yeah, they had some pizza. That was it.
Mm-hmm. But I did get 1 point in the Angela and Jordan smooch category. They made out hard in the middle of that hallway for a little bit.
Yeah, that was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on. Like, did anyone do that in your high school ever? Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
They do it all the time.
Really?
It is so. Like, I'm literally like, you guys, I'm right here, and they'll just keep making out.
I'm thinking like in school, during school. I just don't think I saw that.
Groping,
like in the hallway.
Hands down pants, all of this.
They at least went to like stairwells. You know what I'm saying? Like off the beaten path, but like not in just the middle of the hall. But either way, I'm taking that point. And then I paid attention. I saw a sandwich. I saw milk. I saw some other snacks. I saw no tacos, unfortunately.
No.
So I'm going to take my 1 point, though.
Take it.
I was just way off with all my things I had. Jordan's dating Raeanne. Mr. Chase dies. Angela says my so-called life. And Jordan writes something mysterious in Angela's yearbook.
Well, he wrote something mysterious, but not in the yearbook.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about way off. Yeah, I was. Nobody said anything about it being, looking so beautiful it hurts. That didn't happen. English class was not doing Shakespeare. They were writing sentences with words, which is important. Parents, I don't think that they're in separate bedrooms. They seemed pretty chummy. And the little sister, I thought she was going to eat some cheese, but because I thought maybe like she'd eat a bagel and then put cream cheese on it, but she just couldn't get the bagel out of the toaster. So
she didn't even eat it.
She didn't even eat the bagel. She didn't really have a moment in this show.
No.
So poor little sister.
Yeah, she basically just sat next to the mom and Angela for a minute, and that was pretty much it.
But I mean, like, as a child actor, that's a pretty decent gig, I guess.
Yeah, she talked a lot in the first episode, so it's surprised she had very little to say in this one. Well, I'll take my 1 point, and I will give you all zeros.
I feel like I should get some bonus points because, like, I haven't been here in a while. I got to catch up to Jimmy.
Yeah, okay, Claire. I'll give you 1 bonus point.
All right.
1 bonus
Like
point.
participation point.
Thanks for coming. You
Season
got a
3.
participation award.
I'm going to end with, what is it? Wait, what? It's the 3rd season of this show, right? The pod?
It's the 6th season of First and Last.
Wow.
If that's what you're asking.
I'm way off. Okay, but I will be definitely in last place because I've only been on this time. And Jimmy's,
Potentially. And the only point you'll have is your single participation.
which I'm like, please give me the point.
I wrote it down.
Next time I'm
It's
going
a-
to have like a high wager prediction. I'm
I
ready.
love those. I'm all for those for sure. All right. Well, cool. Hey, Claire. Thanks for joining us, though. If we can sneak Jimmy off of this show ever again, we're happy to have you back.
Let's just do it a different night and not tell him.
Yeah, we'll just do it on a Wednesday next week and not tell Jimmy.
I won't bring like a teen drama again. I promise.
I mean, hey, you bring what you want to watch. This was good. Hey, Claire, you were wrong. This is a good show all in all. I enjoyed it. So there.
I feel good that I got you to say that.
Yeah, that's right. Cool. Well, hey, everybody else. Thank you for listening. We enjoyed you. Your ears. Thank you for borrowing them to us for like almost an hour and a half. This is a long one. We had a lot to say about this.
Oh, I just talk a lot.
If you would like to make a show suggestion or just tweet at us through the ether, which is the internet, you can hit us up at FandL Podcast on Gmail or on the Twitter. We have a Facebook that is around somewhere, I believe. Jimmy's in charge of that, and he's not here this week. So do all those things. That'd be great. And if you're bored, you want to rate us 5 stars or 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, we would enjoy that. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next week for another First and Last. Goodbye.
Bye.
Say goodbye.
I was trying. You cut me off.
Yeah,
Say it again.
Bye.
keep hitting the mic stand too. Do another bye without hitting the mic stand.
I don't know. Bye. Most controlled goodbye ever.